Okay, I made it to work now, so I'm gonna punch in, go print off the census, and grab any consults that I have and see which patients I have to see today. Okay, so I have a list of 6 patients to see today. Usually it ranges from 7 to 10, but I've had days where I've only had 2 patients and then days where I've had like 15, so it really just depends on the day and how many people are here. So now that I've got my list, I'm going to go through all the patient charts before I go see them. So I've gone through all of the charts now and written down any questions that I have for the patients and nurses, and I've also pulled some diet education for anything that I think that patients might need. So typically in an initial assessment it'll take a little bit longer because I have a couple more questions to ask and just to kind of assess any possible malnutrition or anything like that, such as like what their diet's like at home, usual weight, any weight loss or appetite, any other nutrition related questions like that. And then for follow-ups, I may or may not see patients. It kind of depends. Sometimes if they're low risk and I have a lot of patients to see that day, I may not get to them, but if I do have time, I'll definitely stop in and see how things are going, if they're still eating okay or if there's anything else that they just need. And also, since I'm the only clinical dietitian in this hospital, I basically do all of the floors. I do ICU as well as the regular floors. I'm not just assigned to one floor. So as I make my rounds throughout the hospital, I also have to check the fridges to make sure that all of the patient fridges don't have anything that's expired or anything like that. I make sure to throw that out, make sure to date everything. It sounds kind of tedious, but it's just so that, you make sure that nothing is ever expired in there, because sometimes like over the weekend when I'm not here, like milk may expire and it may go bad. You don't want patients to be eating that or drinking that, so it's definitely still important for their nutrition and their health. So with that being said, let's go and see patients now.
Hi, Miss. Hi, my name is Irene. I'm the dietitian. How are you?
Finished my rounding, so I will usually just sit down to chart afterward. If it's an unusually light day, like today is pretty light, I might do a meal tray evaluation. So I'll go into the kitchen during lunchtime and I'll just take some temperatures and then take some temperatures once it arrives up in the floors, just to make sure that it's falling within the acceptable range and that the food is keeping its heat or its coolness by the time it gets up there, and see if we need to make any adjustments to the menu or anything like that. Otherwise, depending on the time or how hungry I am, I may just sit down to eat lunch before I chart. Today it's only 10:23 right now, so I am probably gonna just finish up with my charting and then do the meal tray evaluation at lunchtime. Okay, so this part is actually pretty boring. I'm basically just typing out whatever I have written, and that's pretty much it. So we can fast forward through this part. go into the kitchen and do a meal tray evaluation. I'm not going to take you because it's pretty involved with my hands and I can't film with one hand while taking temperatures with another. So I'll leave you here and I'll be back for lunch.
3 hours later.
So I just finished taking temps and I'm feeling really hungry now, so I'm gonna have some lunch. I brought some eggplant lasagna today, so I'm gonna go heat it up in the kitchen and then have it to eat. So I just finished lunch and the kitchen actually just called me and let me know that one of the nurses had a complaint. A patient had received the wrong diet. So I'm just gonna go down there and check on that because that was one of the patients that I followed up on today and they are in the ICU. So just want to double check with the nurse what's going on, what diet she's actually supposed to be on, and make sure that the kitchen actually does get that to her for her next meal.
Approximately 10 hours later.
So I took care of the complaint for the tray, and then I also went and told the kitchen what happened and got things straightened out with them. And then I had a meeting. So at our hospital we call it care rounds, but it's kind of like a mix of discharge planning and kind of an interdisciplinary meeting. They basically go through all the patients and kind of talk about them, see where they're at, and that happens Monday and Wednesdays. So I had that today, just got done with that. Then other days, once a month on Thursdays, I will teach a cardiac rehab class and also a diabetes education class. So I don't have that today, but I will have that tomorrow. And then occasionally I will have some outpatient consults as well. They don't happen as often. It really depends, and that can definitely be additional things that are added into my schedule that vary from day to day. So now that I finished all my work, I did all my charting, did the meal tray evaluation, and I took care of the complaints and did my meeting. I have some time left, and usually if I do have time, I'll be working on any projects that my director has for me, or I will read up on some MNT since I am still a fairly new dietitian and I'm always trying to learn more and gain some more experience. But actually today I have some training to do because our hospital is transitioning the electronic health record system. So we're gonna get a new system and I have to do some training on that. So that is actually what I'll be doing for the next hour or two, and help the kitchen if they have any questions or anything like that. But that is pretty much going to wrap up my day here.
Sunrise Aware Notes are intuitive and advanced clinical notes that may be customized by your enterprise.
Okay, so it is officially 4:30 and that means it's time for me to go. I'm gonna clock out and drive home and hope that dinner is made. So I made it back home, and the first thing that I usually like to do when I get home is take a shower because I want to wash off all of those hospital germs and make sure I don't bring them into the apartment, while my boyfriend will usually get dinner started if he doesn't end up making all of it by himself, which sometimes he does. So I'm gonna pop in the shower real quick and then eat. So got done with dinner and now I am going to get ready for bed. Honestly, these days with my long commute, it feels like I barely have any time at home to do anything, but I'm also really glad that I'm done with school now and I don't actually have like homework to do once I get home, so I can actually relax. So I think now I'm just gonna go brush my teeth, lay in bed, do some scrolling. I know that's bad for you, but it's kind of the only time during the day that I get to like catch up on things in social media. So I allow myself that treat, and then I think after that I'll go to bed. Pretty tired now, so I think I'm gonna go to sleep, but I hope you enjoyed watching a day in my life as a dietitian. A lot of it was the same as when I was a dietetic intern because I did stay at the same hospital, but I hope you found this interesting nevertheless. If you did, please be sure to leave me a comment down below, give me a like, and also subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.